to the Believe It or Not podcast, the show where we talk about all things paranormal and ghostly. This week we have 3 new guests, Jimmy, Claude and Riley, and several intriguing stories. So, what's your name and your stance on the paranormal?
I'm Jimmy and I'm indifferent on the paranormal.
I'm Claude and I fully believe in the paranormal.
I'm Riley and I do not believe in the paranormal.
So, have you had any paranormal experiences, Jimmy?
Well, I have. One time I was in my room and I heard a crash from downstairs and I was like, what could that be? So I ran down there expecting burglars, expecting people to come in there and brandish knives at me. But no, nothing. My eyes were met with my same front room and I was just bewildered, quite frankly. So I went upstairs and I thought about it more and I thought maybe it's a ghost, but probably not because they don't exist. So that's my opinion. I just don't believe in them. But what else could that have been?
That is pretty spooky, Jimmy.
It was weird.
So, I have a story actually. One time when I went camping with Claude, we were in the woods and like all of a sudden we just heard a scream. And it wasn't one scream, it was like a series of screams and they didn't stop. And as
It went on for a while.
Yeah, it went on for a while. And as the manly man Claude did, he ran away with his feet kicking off.
Oh, wow.
Do you want to know something? This is fabricating because I didn't do that. It was the screams were on went on for a hot while, and then Daniela started crying. She was like shivering up against a tree. She's like ooh, ooh. And
That's funny.
some other people, Tom and Morgan, they were out by the tree line standing guard. They were being all manly. Daniela was crying. She was a mess, as usual. But yeah.
But what does this
that was
have to do with the
spooky.
paranormal?
That was
Do
a
you
spooky story.
truly believe that was a paranormal entity?
Well, what else could it be?
Any
else?
animal ever?
Right, okay.
Foxes do make really
Yeah, they-
human sounds.
they do
And
like to
foxes are
scream.
everywhere, you know.
It could have been like
Yeah.
someone starting a car. Someone
What?
It sounded more like a scream though.
was it?
Well, maybe your dreary
know.
heads are imagining things. You're
Well,
being in
Riley-
the forest.
Riley, do you have any stories? Because
Well, my neighbour told me once that she saw a demon in her house.
Was it her husband?
No, she's like I think she was 9 at the time, so probably
no,
not.
she was 9. I thought she'd be like an old woman.
No, my neighbour, yeah, and she decided to sleep downstairs, which apparently was a bad decision because she saw more demons, but I didn't believe it
Why are
because
you
I didn't
trusting
see
a
them myself.
9-year-old?
Yeah,
That's
so your
crazy,
argument is based off a 9-year-old's
Well,
opinion.
basically, I was also 9, so
Oh,
I
you
didn't
know,
realise it was that serious.
I'm not littered with paranormal experiences like some people apparently are, which is probably why I'm swayed in this direction.
well, as I said, I've only got one, but I'm still indifferent to it because mine was still pretty crazy, but I'm just not swayed by something like that easily. So I'm not gonna go, oh yeah, ghosts are real just because I heard a crash. That could be so many things.
Is there a reason why you're such a strong believer?
Because I have many stories from my family because they used to live in a very haunted house, and I remember once my auntie telling me that she was home alone in said house, and there was nobody in. She went to sleep all peacefully and kind, and then she woke up and there was chewing gum all in her hair, and it was all sticky and gross and chewy.
A bully
as,
did it.
as gum
Easy.
usually is.
Was she alone?
She was alone when she woke up as well. Yeah, all the windows were closed, all that jazz.
What if her bully came down and gave her one last evil misfortune?
She probably was the bully.
Oh,
She
really?
was like a not very good person back then. Yeah,
Well, maybe
she hit people. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
may-
sorry,
maybe
what-
she just got what she
No,
deserved.
why would a ghost go, hang on, I'm going to come back from the dead, use my only chance to go stick some gum in someone's hair.
Maybe it was a malicious ghost.
But why? Wouldn't you kill someone?
Ghosts
probably
are sometimes
someone-
just
I'm like
devious.
90% sure my auntie ran over someone, so it could be like
Yeah, but
that ghost.
Sticking gum in someone's hair is a very possible human activity.
yeah, I don't believe
If
a
ghosts were
gum.
real, I'm sure they
a
would
gum.
control things in whimsical ways, not just stick gum in people's
That's what
hair.
I'm saying.
Yeah, but chewing gum and sticking the hair is a pretty whimsical thing to do, if you ask me.
It's an American bully thing to do, not a whimsical ghost thing
Yeah,
to
but
do.
ghosts, they might have like really good jaws, a good throat game. They might like genuinely be able to have the gum and stick it in people's hair.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
You don't know ghosts.
You don't know
Yeah, no,
ghosts.
neither do you.
'Cause that sounds like something a ghost would do.
It does. It's pretty despicable.
Did the ghost work in a circus? Maybe. Or what if it was...
What does that have to do with anything?
Look,
Riley,
people who
you're
work
really,
in circuses are devious,
you're
right?
really grasping at straws.
No wonder you're in
Would you-
conversation.
no.
wonder.
You're grasping at straws, Claude, thinking a ghost stuck gum in someone's hair.
Well, I will say that I could have been swayed by your guys' stories, but they were so meek and mild.
I've got a story which might sway you.
Oh, really?
One night, Rick and Bob, who are avid fishers, went out poaching salmon above Fingal Bridge. And as they
Finger
were
Bridge.
Yeah. And as they were fishing, they saw a figure walk across the other side of the bank, who they assumed may have been someone who owned the land. See, the thing is, Rick and Bob weren't actually supposed to be there. So they were. What? So they were stopped. So they stopped fishing and ducked in the bushes. As they watched, they
Dirty
realised.
trespassers.
Were
the figure wasn't an owner at all.
they English by any chance?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
yeah.
Okay.
Do you think they're not because they trespassed? Is that what you're getting at?
Perhaps. So what happened to Rick and Bob, the old
So,
the old
Rick and
fellas?
Bob saw a woman in a white dress walk across.
Now that's pretty strange.
It is strange, isn't it?
Thanks for the ad lib, Jimmy.
It's alright.
So they walked.
We
So they
live-
saw like the woman walk along, and once she disappeared, Rick and Bob like became curious. So they went and crossed the river to try and see where she had gone.
But curiosity killed the cat.
It
for any
did
of-
indeed.
for any of
Wait,
those
what?
cat
Who
fans.
died?
No one.
Oh,
Apparently a woman...
I thought Rick and Bob
Probably.
died or whatever they
No.
were called. Okay.
They just went over to the other side of the
Phew. Is that how they
river.
came to tell the tale?
yes. And they realised the like bush was 4 foot high and with loads of brambles, so it wasn't like humanly possible for the woman who's dressed in white to walk across. So
Or she had a change of clothes.
Yeah, that's true. What if she had a backpack with a spare dress?
she could have.
She could have had that dog in her.
What if she wanted to get to a scenic spot and she wanted to walk, like frolic in the fields of joy with a white dress?
That's true.
Maybe she was running away from a wedding.
Maybe she was the
and
main
was, like,
character.
Maybe she
Going-
was just the main character.
going commando like into the bushes.
But you haven't heard the next part.
Oh God.
So out of fear, they ran away and they legged it back to the pub, where they ordered 2 large whiskies to try and knock some sense into what they've just
Oh
seen.
yeah, ideal.
What a
Let's
foolish
drink
thing-
alcohol
Yeah.
to make
what
this
a
make
foolish
sense.
thing to do.
And when they were there, they told like the landlord what they'd witnessed. And the landlord paused before replying and said, "That's the woman in white." The story of the woman in white was that on her wedding day, in a fit of rage, her husband violently murdered her.
Oh.
That is not funny.
Yeah, that's not funny, is
It's
it?
not funny.
You know,
It's pretty
domestic
serious.
problems are a real
If
thing
you have
down
any issues,
Wait,
make sure
why,
to call
why
the
would he not
domestic
just
helpline,
like
guys.
divorce her, you know? Instead of just killing? That's
It's
horrible.
back in the
Exactly.
day.
Back in the...
back in the
What, you
day.
thought
Back
everyone,
in the day.
all the
Back in
husbands
the
just killed their
day.
wives on their wedding day?
Times were different.
It
Times
is
were
crazy
like
how,
that.
how we as a bloodline are here without our great ancestors' husbands just beating our wives to death.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
You know, big up. No,
Anyway,
not big up.
Big
so
down.
her husband violently
Big down.
murdered her, and the landlord said something that left Rick and Bob in shock. This wasn't the first time she's been spotted, and it certainly won't be the last.
Well, how does that?
Did she get spotted again?
Well, it certainly won't be the last.
Well,
How
the
does that mean
landlord,
she's a ghost?
the landlord knows about the woman in white,
Do
apparently.
you reckon the landlord was the woman in white?
I reckon the landlord was the woman
Was a
in white.
transvestite?
I still don't believe in ghosts. I still don't believe in ghosts.
Still
But
not.
I kind of do, but I don't really. So.
I reckon it's just an adventurous woman who decided to go through brambles.
I
with a
thing
think, I
backpack.
think that story was So
People
I'm
have done it
convinced
before.
that has made me believe less in ghosts than I did originally.
Me
from
too,
my
because
first
I
time.
feel like spirits exist, but not like the type of ghosts that go around putting gum in hair. But then again, that story was so unrealistic. So
Oh. Yeah, true.
you've disappointed me.
It's better than a 9-year-old demon.
That's true.
Well, I never believed that.
Yes, no, you definitely do.
I think you're a secret believer
Yeah,
just
I
because of that
think
demon.
you're a secret believer.
What did the demon look like?
My neighbour was spitting absolute just lies, you know.
I believe that.
Yeah, and because she didn't. Obviously, there was no evidence. She just said.
Yeah, but there's no evidence for any of these. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
There's no
it's-
evidence
That's
for
kind of the whole
ghosts.
thing about ghosts, really.
yeah, but some people are like so insistent on it. and I'm
Yeah,
like,
but it's such
no.
a spectrum. Some people are so like
Well, yeah.
forward on believing in ghosts. Some people are so like just.
Only because they swear they saw something. Like, people don't want to admit they're just crazy.
I'd like to thank my sponsor, Coca-Cola. After a long, hard day of telling ghoulish tales, all I ever want is a crisp, cold Coca-Cola. And so does my guest, Claude.
Mmm.
That's all we have time for today on the Believe It or Not podcast. I'd like to thank my guests for being here.